In the realm of system administration, we all know that DNS is the backbone of all network communications. Now, when DNS goes down, that's a catastrophe waiting to happen. Emails can be sent, internal services aren't accessible, and there's not even talk about the chaos when users can't access their apps. So quick resolution is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And that's what we're focusing on today, how to quickly identify and resolve DNS issues using PowerShell. The IT team at Bethany's Pie Shop has been receiving an increasing number of complaints from employees that certain websites and internal applications are timing out or even failing to load during certain periods of the day. Now, upon investigation, you discover that the issue seems to be related to DNS resolution on the internal DNS server. So let's jump into another demo and see what's going on. So we're in something deep here. A critical website can't be reached. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's start with DNS because it's always DNS, right? I'm here on my admin workstation, logged in as a domain admin as usual, don't tell security, with my PowerShell console up. Now the internal app is hosted on a server called SRv2. So let's first see if I can resolve the server that the app is hosted on. It's failing. Not good. It is in fact DNS. Shocker. Well, let me see if the DNS record exists at all in the AD integrated zone by running get DNS server resource record on my main DNS server, which is SRv1. So I'll use PowerShell remote and connect to SRv1 and run get DNS server resource record and see if I can find SRv2. Not good. That's a problem. The record isn't showing up. Well, the server should be dynamically adding its DNS record to the zone since we have dynamic DNS on all servers. What could be interfering with that registration? Well, let's first manually attempt to register a DNS record for the SRv2 server. All right, so now I've used remote desktop to connect to the IP address of SRv2, so it should be on SRv2 now. Yep. I don't have Windows PowerShell up because I don't have PowerShell 7 installed in this machine. So to attempt a manual registration, I can use Register DNS Client. All right, it looks like it was successful. At least it didn't give me an error. All right, it's still not resolving. Great. The registration process isn't working. Let me come back over to my SRv2 server and look around its NIC settings. Instead of futzing around with the GUI, I always like to just stay in PowerShell, so I can use the get DNS client commandlet and specify the interface alias of Ethernet, which is the main NIC on this machine. And I typed it to select star, so select all properties on it to see all the properties since get DNS client doesn't usually return all of the properties. Looking through here, I see it. It's a property that looks like it might be it. It says register this connection's address and it's set to false. That means that the client isn't configured to use dynamic DNS at all. Let's turn that on. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to do this in PowerShell, but what I can do is use the GUI. Unfortunately, I have to use the GUI in this instance, so I'll go to change adapter settings, come over here, go to properties, and then it is embedded in the TCP IP properties, go to advanced and DNS, and it's right here. Register this connection's addresses in DNS. All right, now click OK, and OK to confirm, and OK to confirm again. Now that that's enabled, let's try to register this DNS client again. And now come back over to my workstation and try to resolve it again. Yay, the record is back. I guess some numbskull decided it was a good idea to turn that off when it clearly was not. As a final test, since I can resolve it, let me just now try to run get DNS server resource record and just query it directly on the server just to be sure. And it is successful. The record is now back and for good, I hope.